Ciao scribes, SPLs, YouTube, fam, shaman, herbalists, hermetic self-initiates, self-governing, private, sentient, tripart, mans, womans. A little bit of an update for you today. Random, get ready, pens and papers are required. It is around about Wednesday, the 7th of August, 1404, 144,000 springs to mind, 144, 1404, nearly, not quite. Hello to the two that have popped in. Pens and papers will be required for this abstract little update. Tacit, acquiescence, search and find, Miriam's, Black's, Oxford. Okay, get a few definitions up there. I'm not going to be required to spell this out for you today. And also hakuna, matata. So we have 4 key words for today's cast. What I'd like to bring into you, I'm going to link the fragmented weirdness of kings, prides, entitlements, kingdoms as such, rights, separation from the father. Ignorance is bliss is the general, theme for this cast, all right? Tacit and acquiescence both imply what? Similar, very similar. You've tacitly acquiesced. And tacit, paraphrasing, roughly, generally, is to be ignorant, silent, tacitly. Acquiesced is agreed, silently, kind of, roundabout. You're about to find out now. So, good day, good afternoon. Ciao bello. Much love to you all. Trills, family, like I say, private, self-initiates, self-governing consciousnesses of the etymological, hermetical, phonetical, cosmetical. So I'd like you to, John, if you're here, this is a cast that you should enjoy, especially. That'll be John of the Middleton family and clan. After this, I'm going looking for our Gary on the Book of Faces, and I will be going live, trying to see if I can link up with Brother Gary for him to lay claim upon man, as he has done. So, back to the point and the schedule for today. Tacit and acquiescence. And give me your findings, what you think they are first, and what implied meanings and definitions there, what you think. And then if you find out anything different today, then I'd like you to point out what you've cemented in with your syntax. That's SINTAX, syntax. And tacitly acquiescing. All right, these are the words that we use often in positions of conditional acceptance, pointing out, contract, fee schedules, United Kingdom public, processes to adhere to, and we recognise that we are not the liability as such. We're in an off ice, and indeed, often we find that corpses they don't always acknowledge the finer points of law, as man is orchestrating often in defence of legal claims upon his person. And we often find that response is given, and the substance, the body, the admissions that we gave, and the acceptances and the notices and the positions and the corrections are often referred to as, we'll say, nonsical. But there is other words. Tell me what they've said. Thank you for your internet generated letter. Well, it's not a letter for one. Failure, massive epic fail. 2, it was a notice. Complaint, letter of complaint. No, it was a notice of instruction, of authority. I don't know why it's gone to the complaints department. A bit like when I was on with the DVLA the other day, and a gentleman came back. The agent there says, "Is it regarding a house, David?" I went, "No, my good man. My goodness, no. It'll be a fine day where an Englishman rings up and says, 'Hello, I'd like to talk about my private property and the titles and whatnot therein associated with.'" And then he comes back and says, "Is this about a house? At what point did I mention bricks and mortar, mortgages, houses, deeds of such nature?" I didn't. Why do you query me about a house? Well, you mentioned private property. That's usually a house. Usually, yes, but not in this instance. So, tacit acquiescence. If you live next door to somebody and you listen to somebody going through eternal hell and damnation in the form of bullying, harassment, common law, assault daily, and you ignore that, you are complicit to that crime there by tacitly acquiescing to the facts and what your duties and obligations are, being a trustee in that street of yours, you know. So there are many ways, many reasons of which we employ these terminologies, but then ignorance in general, okay, silent ignorance is what we're getting at, and then bliss. You know the saying, ignorance is bliss? I'm sure you do. It is not. Ignorance is no defence in the eyes of the coded penal divided club of pagan Rome system there. Ignorance is no defence. Okay, so there we go. Ignorance is no defence. We can use that in our favour too. But, you know, if you don't respond, back in the day when I got on this journey of mine of discovery and enlightenment of law and codes and rights and man and secular, they were saying, don't reply. No contact is no contract. I'm like, but there are controversies needing to be cleared up. And I know from the offset, if man ignores something, it only gets worse. And assumed, presumed, pre-action protocols, house wins 9 times out of 10, most times 10 times out of 10. So there's a slim chance at getting it in and discharging effectively for civil claims and charges made upon man's person. So ignorance is not bliss. Ignorance is not going to win the day. Ignorance does not provide remedy, settlement, closure, discharge, account, you know, tickety-boo, credit. So I'm going to drop the Lion King in. Bosh, all right? SPLspro.com has a lion on it. The lion is connected to Babylon, but not for the reasons of it being shown on SPLspro.com. The big winged bird, eagle and so forth is connected to Babylon. The eagle and so forth in particular. Birds, statues, figures, disfigurement. Don't let me sidetrack here. So the Lion King, the kingdom of animals, the kingdom of man, and the kingdom of plants. Somebody has said to me, David, you will be requiring to watch the Lion King again. I says, I don't think so, my good fellow. What on earth for? He said, the king, the father being disconnected, the kingdom taken away from the pride, returning back as the king to the rightful heir of Uncle Scar, which has taken over, the deceitfulness, the non-disclosure, the underhandedness to take control of the kingdom, knocking out the father and the son in a fail swoop of episode. We'll call it episode. It's a story of such, isn't it? There's more than one blockbuster for your consideration. So in this entertaining Disney classic entitled The Lion King, there is a little message there of a king getting separated from his son. The king is stampled on by wildebeest in a horrific, premeditated, orchestrated, deceptive, constructed, accident there by Uncle Scar in the wings of the family and the bloodline. He has his own plans for the land and the kingdom. He snuffles out the dad, blames it on the young lad, the son. The son's heartbroken, leaves his rightful place, his position of, as king. He was the rightful heir. He abandons it, meets Timon and Pumbaa, goes out on a mission there, and that's self-explanatory. We'll skip that. It's quite entertaining. I didn't shed any tears here, but he grows up then, does our Simba, symbolic, Simba, Isis, Osiris, symbols, and yes, just symbolic. Simba really grows up and meets his old play friend when I only did this last night, so this is why it's fresh. I'm not a Lion King fan, or a Disney fan, and it was a waste of my time, I thought, to watch this, but here we go. I'll continue on. Timon and Pumbaa. Pumbaa is the big warthog, is he? He's about to get attacked by a lioness in the, where are we? I don't know here. Where's the Lion King? Africa, Serengeti, something like that. The plains. And Simba comes along and jumps on the lioness just as she's got the beast in her grips, and she realizes they know each other. I forget her name, forgive me on that one. And they recognize they are friends, Simba and this lioness, and she mentions what's happened and the kingdom, and they need him. He's called for, he has a calling, a position, a duty, and he decides to go back and face his past. All right, the past, age of 21, the age of majority, deserting the position, and so forth and so on, as the gemstone have quite adequately pointed out there. It's almost as if we signed up for it knowingly. Well, we didn't, and we are all in the eyes of the Most High there, been led down the path, and there is time, to correct the sinful nature of our actions and deeds. So I'll stop there. All right, The Lion King, much like Monsters Inc., where the corporation, the incorporation of, we'll call it, the frown, all right, the frown of Monsters Inc. There, they send out these monsters to bedrooms and houses. Imagine agents and officers going out from the incorporated Monsters Inc. and they go to residential addresses of which there are small children and snowflakey type entities, and they scare them, collect up the energetic screams, and go back to the frown and bank them and transfer them, and can turn that into, oh my days, so knocking at the doors, opening it, making you scream, passing over sweat equity, wow. And they say that it is I that needs to get a level head, calm down, slow down, check myself before I wreck myself. So Disney and blockbusters with ideologies and symbolic Simbas about kingdoms and prides and positions and deserting places. Obviously, it hasn't got the full remedy in which man can claim life and say, I rebut the assumptions, presumptions, and I have rights. I know I have rights. They are unalienable. And I'd like to talk about going over to the private what, because I hear that's what we do. So from tacit acquiescence to man's pride and kingdom. All right, the Father is within. I don't know what you think about that, but it makes it apparent when the monkey, the wise monkey baboony type thing, comes down and shows Simba his dad's alive. His dad's still alive. No, my dad's dead. I watched him die. He's like looking to the river. He looks into the river. He doesn't see out. He goes, look again. Take more care. Look with more detail. He looks back again for a second time in Pond River. He sees that little reflection of himself, and then the genetics of his father morph into it. And he says, hey, oh, what's going on here, man? And then the clouds and the heavens and the skies, the saviours as such. And I just thought, wow, okay then, with the positions of which we are familiar with, and the truth in plain sight, so forth and so on, acquiescence and silence and ignorance and presumed consent, all in general encapsulate, you have a position there, and you can walk away from it, and you can ignore it, and you can accept the other position. And now the position is not quite as satisfactory, beneficial, or empowering as what you have become. You are more than what you have become. You have become this. Thus, we would like you to be the best version of yourself possible. That would involve some kind of language enhancement for the consciousness expansion. So enhancement, expansion for the cross-pollination of this alchemic area of your soul, energy, spirit, consciousness, and rights. Basically, they don't steal them from you. They've drugged you. They've just, when I say drugged, we'll go sugar, nicotine, caffeine, pharmaceutical prescription, neurological drugs there, a mixture of all the E numbers, aspartames, phenylenalanes, preservatives, sugars, neurological toxin drugs and prescription drugs in general, alcohol, too much caffeine. It's a big old job there, for finding oneself and being drugged up, and the water. Sorry, we missed that one, didn't we? That's another standard. So you have these infractions and offences to your soul and your natural biological rhythms and rates, and you are handicapped in a great many areas, crippled somewhat, going back to the African plains, the Serengeti. Now we've got the predatory Frown members of London there. The Square Mile have sent out their monkeys and hounds and so forth, a bit like Bernsey, and they're coming to collect. And you are all handicapped with broken bones and thorns in your feet and soles and eyes that are quite clouded, and your vision isn't quite 20/20, and you've got to get out into a safe haven with the agents of the Frown upon you with their 5G, fourth industrial revolution, quantum D-wave, ultra high Nikola Tesla secret stolen suppressed technology upon us. Do you see what's happening? We've got the backing of the EU and the UN and these other united factions of higher authority over the subjects of these secular public laws, and thou shalt do as thou art instructed, or you will meet the empires of ISA and policy, and they will use the force of their codified secular divided pagan Club of Rome system, of which you are in by presumption and assumption, deception and constructed setup. So yes, we are ignorant to some extent, but that's only because it's far perplexing of the iniquities that have been done there, and the systems and the measures of which they've purported to be honourable and legal. Well, we're quick finding out that legal and honesty and making let's think now, making I forget what it is now. When we do a certain thing and we tell them and we announce it, but it's not announcing it. Declaration, we got to be careful what we declare. Could you declare that, please? Well, I do declare, I do declare that this is unfair. You've not told me what I'm declaring. You're giving me basically legal advice. You're not legally trained. This is lawfully affecting man, to which is having a derogatory, detrimental, devolutionary, effect on us. But because you're not legally trained and you're giving me legal advice, which is really basically unlawful, all this is to carry on. No, it isn't. You're putting the brakes on here, fam. I really am quite, in the ignorance is one thing, but what do I call it now? I call it something. They have this plausible deniability. Okay, that's the main thing to anchor down in the commercial admiralty realm here. This plausible deniability. Once we establish the facts and get it printed out there, established, and others in the realm that we work with closely to tie in the relevance and the way that all this can work and is working. It cannot be then, once it's established and founded, printed, sourced, referenced, articulated and known commonly, then it will no longer be plausible deniability, and there will be claims to be made for damages of mass amounts. So for the time being, while we're all dithering and umming and ahhing and bickering and, pulling the finger to point blame at one another and who's the best, who is the righteous, and I'd take that to one side. I have done a video update on the .com and on SPO's Facebook to say that brother Ceylon there, as in Ceylon tea, has done an update, I think the 31st of July, referencing some of the topics of which you may be interested in. I'll leave it at that. I still maintain my position of I don't talk about anybody or anybody's business other than our business and what I'm authorised and permitted to do. Idle gossip, hearsay and unfounded claims, as I'm going to prove with Gary, are detrimental and dangerous and in breach of law, to be fair and right. So our rights end where yours begin, and your rights end where ours begin. It's as simple as that. Unless you're a part of a elite, shadowy, dark, established corpse, and you operate on policy, which is, in their instances, it seems to be above law and rights and God and everything. They are the God. Money and the factions of, the policy our God, and if we are all classified and presumed as United Kingdom citizens until status correction is attained, then you can see how they would lump us all together under that UKG government corpse policy until the aforementioned status correction has been completed and instruction authority and whatnot done for for that to be outlaid. And I'll stop there and have a breath, I think, and just see who's in, what we're doing. Have a swig of coffee. I've got more emails to answer, so I'm still working on that. Admin. I have Facebook issues to look at, messages and so forth, which won't be answered because, as I've said, Facebook messaging system and the network itself, I just use that now because it's used me for so long, and it doesn't fix the bugs and the security flaws within those user profiles, which can be malicious and out to cause harm, injury, theft, loss, breach the trust there of that network. So you have to get me via email. I've learned my lessons the hard way, I'm afraid. I've been infected and hacked and shut down too many times to use Facebook and so forth, platforms with holes in them, and yes, let things in. So you get me on the email. It does take a while, but there you go. At least I reply is my saving grace there. If you are waiting for a reply and I haven't replied, nudge me, David at splspro.com. Facebook is a secondary, non-primary contact platform. That's all it will ever serve to be for me, I'm afraid. So those of you that log on and use it daily, and it's your first place of call every day when you wake up, and every minute, several minutes, hour, whatever, then that's great, your decision. You can get me in that avenue only, and there's no telephone because it's getting too busy, and we need to establish further. So I'm concentrating and focusing on the last little bits of the key competence Masters Guild for you to outlay the basic interaction, verbiage and liabilities as we see it. I've taken it from the .gov.uk current stop and search policy and permissions and what they're allowed, UK Constable Officer and also PCSO. Scotland's different, and this is for England. When I say England, United Kingdom, I said, didn't I? Officer, Constable Officer, and PCSO, that would be Northern Ireland as well, UK. And then as for England and Wales, Ireland, Northern Ireland, Wales, Scotland, sheriffs, a little bit operation different. So I need some help with the outlay to Scotland. All of the family need help and outlay, so we will edit Scotland, Northern Ireland, Southern, the borders, separation, land masses. We're all here together. Westminster is allegedly still ruling the independence and whatnot of Scotland and the SNP back in the day. So it's very, very uniquely, done. And we've got the job of outlining it and, giving you our opinion, findings, and how we process Andy I, splspro.com, the agent's family within YouTube. You're included within that. And yes, I'll be happy once that's out there and we can start rinsing it a bit like, through every letterbox, takeaways, cooperatives, thinking maybe an email to them, something to do with the social network, community, youth, last will and testament needs to be thought about after the legal age is attained, and definitely at the age of majority, 21. And now I'm going to go to some comments, drink some more tea, have a breath, and I'm going to go looking for Gary again in a bit. And not happy about this. I don't enjoy it. I don't want to do it. It's taking up my time. I'll endeavour to try and correct the debacle on that network. Hello to the 21. Thank you to the 5 thumbs up. We've got Eric. Aligna, yes, John, yo. Not much chance of doing much at the more grandchildren camped here for the day. Nice, blessings. The 6 weeks is upon us. commercially, held over a barrel. What's happened with the airline prices? What's happened with the exchange rates? Done it just at the right time. It's just amazing, isn't it? Just before or just as they hit the cusp, before the peak of the 6 weeks holidays and the annual, vacation, recreation periods of the English and others around the realm, suffering now with the high frequency market trading aspect of the fourth industrial blockchain revolution, where the elite play with lives, tickets, airlines, going up 2, 3, 4, 5 times the standard amount, technology used on the markets there, all of them manipulating currency, export, import, inflation. As I say, it really is. It's got to stop. There are horrific renditions of wars brought to you by Hollywood. Hacking, slashing, armored like Hercules and so forth, and the Titans and gods of Egypt and the wrath of the Titans, the immortals, and they show you, and this is still going on. This bloodline, this controlling, whatever it is, or a mixture of. They still like the battle. They still like the bloodlust. They still go for that, but they're not allowed to do it now because we've got hold of these legal, prepositions and international treaties and sanctions, and there's a lot of money to be made, more so than the spilling of blood. So these battles and these sacrifices, as well, we're aware, are going on, and they say it's down to your ignorance and lack of will, lack of dexterity for your cognitive and lawful spiritual compass, morality, guidance there. So we'll give you some of that. We'll help you, and we know that you're not criminals, and you're in the same situation as 95%, 98% of the population of this plains and realm. Indeed, you are. But blessings is the family. Yes, John agreed about the victim. You've sent the Santos chart, so I'm picking that up this afternoon. Wow, that's nice to see. Thank you, Funkstar. Much love. I'm giving you fist bumps and hearts all, but I'm keeping the camera off. Thank you, John. Thank you. Think owl before ego in one. Yeah, and also think the Zoroastrianism. Wow, that's a word that I really struggled with, and I continue to. Zoroastrianism, astroism. Going back to, the wings, the man in the middle, the bird, the two very significant circle squares. Cats, Egyptians worship them. I know what you mean, but we're not. That isn't an instruction to worship Egyptian cats, everyone. But I get that. That's the beauty about us. Windmiller. Aha! I'm seeing it now. Verbs, adjectives, or too many things to bring to ruin the thread. But thanks, John. Energy thieves, indeed, Eric. That's the one. Equity, energy, life thieves in general. Essence thieves. Subjects. Copyright, copy claim. Easy. Now then. How do? De facto reality. Fact, de facto, court of fact. So an of fact reality. That's what you're saying there, Brother John. Of facto reality. Yes, tacit, acquiesce. I haven't seen anybody's, use or interpretation or meaning or deliverance or, whether or not you would tacitly acquiesce ever. If you are considered to be tacit or either acquiescing or both, and you don't know the difference or the way that they are, then going forward I'm going to do some short 15-minute videos entitled Joinder, entitled Tacit and Acquiescence, entitled Legal Ease versus Oxford styles, grammar and so forth, and we'll put these out in little bits so then you can choose to learn as you see fit. I will structure the content after we've done these last bits of the key competence paperwork, Masters Guild for you to have and put round all the communities and places that you see fit. where this young life, this vibrant life that's ours, that's private, that needs to be protected, that is basically out there unarmored in a battlefield. If I could put it to you like this, there's a old-fashioned battle going off. We'll go, it doesn't have to be old-fashioned. It can be any battle that you can put into your mind, whether it be Vietnam style, whether it be World War One style, whether it be Sumer, Akkad, Canaan, Mesopotamia, Judea, Israelites, Hebrews, King Herods, whatever it is. Get a battle scene in your head there. Okay, now imagine that we're all together and I am the battle leader. I am the military chief here, chief of staff, and I say, everybody, and you're all naked now, okay, and you've got sticks and you're going up against militia that's invading our home turf, and they've got cutting edge 2019 weaponry, okay, because that's where we're at, 2019. Now you're going out naked into that battle with sticks. All right, that's what, and I'm asking you to do that. All right, I know you're all going to get slaughtered. I'm sending you into your death. All right, so what we'd like to do before we go out into battle in the 2019 with these agents and serpents and deceptive natured languages and instruments and weapons of mass distraction, then I'd like you to put on a bit of armor first, and I'd like to give you a few laser target trackers. I'd like to put you on some helmets, some boosters, boost fit babies and turn babies into men, and get you into the realm of being protected and locked down before you even think about taking a step towards anybody and raising, a concern or a claim. Because let's face it, in essence, that's what we are seeing every day. Unarmed, naked soldiers trying to go into a battle with a stick against the most cutting-edge technology, which is, it's not working. And when you do get your armour on, or your so-called armour, and you've got your birth certificates registered to a common law such and such, then we'd argue that might be a foolish way to go. We wouldn't advise you in any way, but we'd put down our positions and the correct rulings of, and the remedies available in what areas, and how you would evoke that, command that, and ensure that you would attain the correct amount at law for your remedy, and not be swindled or hoodwinked or indeed contracted into, and not to be benefited in any way, but to be served and levied and feed and fined. So interesting, isn't it? I'd like to know the words though, with the acquiesce and the tacit and this, that, the other. This is our way of interpreting what the hell they was on about, because 5-7 years ago, as we've said, 2015, acquiescence and estoppel. I was like, well, estoppel looks French, and acquiescence doesn't look very English either. What language am I reading here? Why is this involved in law? How is an Englishman going to read foreign law, which is English law written in foreign? Who made these rules? It doesn't seem fair right from the beginning. I'm like, no wonder man doesn't correctly understand and can't articulate whom he is when he doesn't even speak his own language, for one. And being dyslexic and hyper and, full of energy and passion and drive and direction and impatience, and, having to, these barriers just dropped in front of me. I'm Mr. Turbo and I had to go Mr. Turtle. And when you make Mr. Turbo go Mr. Turtle, he gets angry, he does. He wants to go, he wants to be free. I want to hit the jet stream. I want to absorb, and, numbers and symbols and meanings and codes and positions and places and cross-examination and referencing and, etymological, phonetical, scientific now with the windmillery type, and, the Billy Carson and Matthew LaCroix. If you haven't seen that, Billy Carson and Matthew, is it LaCroix? Wow, my arms are going spiky there. Them boys done some good. Them boys done some good there. I'm not saying you should agree with it or even take it all in, but I liked it, and I was quite amazed at Matthew and his work. I think I might get that book that is written, because he doesn't look too old, and if he's got that kind of knowledge, then that will benefit me greatly as well. I don't know if you know of Billy Carson, the darker skinned brother that talks on Gaia, and he's got a lot of Anunnaki groups and historical references. Just speak a bit fast, but oh yes, the cherries are coming. All right, those double cherries that we all wanted on the jukebox, on the Bandit, was it, in the Working Man's Club, with the 7 and the bars and the cherries. But guess what? Payouts coming. We found it. So Yes, it's very unfortunate that as Anglo-Saxon, English, Britannia, Commonwealth type folk of this realm quadrant, that we're quite disconnected from a great many variants of our lineage. And when we look at the Scottish and the Scotia and the Egyptians and the obelisks and the Romans and the Greeks and the names and the languages and the Francais and the kings and the monarchies, the church and the state, it's all come out in the wash, hasn't it? They've been caught lying. They've been caught lying big time. We have got lots of factual, evidential continuum of articulate, concise, double, triple validated, referenced, used, and now published pre-Christian gnosis. So it's an amazing time where before we've had the Christian church and state have control over science and religion and rights and law and churches. A vessel in dry dock, which is basically, we know what vessels and docks are. Your court system, your court is your church is your ecclesiastical tie, and very, very, deceptively done there, and well done to them for such a fathoming of. But we've got to draw the line somewhere and say enough is enough. Mockeries and shams, and where we are, truly mind cracking de facto, but facts. Yeah, so in the court, de facto court reality, all of it. Yes, of reality, ab de facto legal. Oh, John, I love it. Words with two consonants and then a vowel. So there you go. John's given me, that's a vowel though, isn't it? Sugar. I did think of something, a word. Ab initio. So A-E-I, that's a vowel though, ab initio, isn't it? From that void. Ab de facto legal. Words with two consonants and a vowel. Quite negative. Wow, stop it with your hocus pocus. E-Rock, he's there, brother. Nice to see you. Hello to the 20. Thank you for the 6 thumbs up. I've got the lens covered for now. That's right, Eric. They are spells, and your spelling and the way that you use that as the author with your authority in the autograph, very, very powerful indeed. Sister Noma, aye, how we doing? Good to see you, nice. Thank you for the smiley face, heart, and fist bump. What's your take on making claim of life through court of chancery? You will see. What's my take? I'm on with it. You have to have a look on the .com. There's a designated forum for that. Initially, rebuttal of CQV 1500, 1600, and 1707. Annexed year, roughly 60 something, tells you about probate claims in the realm and the courts and the high courts and what to do. And if you're going to go down and say that there's a probate estate, we are in probate when you look at the court and the prosecution, and when I say in Surrey juris propria persona, then so forth and so on. Okay, so we've looked at that, we know where we are, we know what they mean. You're going in with your estate in probate, pro se, bait, and you would will and testament, so forth. Correction of trust statuses would render the estate not being in probate. That's your private setup there, because you still have the Crown copyrighted, you're the holder in due course of the certificate of birth for your person. That's not you. You got a thumb mark and an autograph and your voice and a soul, an essence and a spirit. All right, the Father is within you, the Lion King again. You're getting all this now. The Father disconnected from the tribe. Go watch the Lion King and come back, and we'll have another chat in a couple of days. All right, I'm not telling you to do anything, but just to refresh. I think the music and the way they've done it, and the animation and the cinematography, I would not be held responsible for what happens if you choose to watch The Lion King again. But yes, moving on. So you go down and you want to tell the Grand Master, the Master there, that there's a death occurred, 21, the key on the card, third time, 7, 14, 21. Okay, 3 is a charm, 3 is the magic number. And now you want to get, where's your death certificate? Well, who's died? Well, you got the certificate of birth, you're the holder in due course, it's bonded, watermarked, it's referenced, registered, all of that business. And that's quite enough to articulate a claim on, man would think. But if I so happen to get a certification of any kind on my person from the land registry, subsequently my mind is telling me that at the age of 7 there should be some paperwork done with the bondsman and the registration of the baby by the informants of the asset, aka child. And when that bondsman at the general registry office makes that appointment and takes that claim of life, estate, resources, minerals, rights of the realm of which the creator, handed you dominion, you have an equal share of the realm's resources and mineral rights in general. That what the corporations are pillaging, raping, stealing and selling back to us with value added tax and so forth. So that certification and that little bit there with the informants and the child and whatnot renders an entry in a book, and it's noted and done, and you are past the certification of of what you are to hold now. And the titles and positions have changed as well within trust, so you've now got the 7 year from being born to correct, allegedly given the position of probate claims. You've got to recognize that, oh yeah, it's just in lawful if somebody's really lost and dead and 7 years passes and you can claim that estate. Well, very good and well, yes it is, we recognize that, touche. But then again, when you have all of these instruments and mechanics set up and legal positions and trusts and titles and possessory rights, legal trustee, allodial title, settler, God, Jehovah, Lord, Yahweh, Jesus, Savior, all my days, okay? So we're getting into it, we're getting into the area, the ballpark. So whenever you make a claim in law, you've got to back it up with the burden and the proof of the claim. So don't be going down paying you 528 for your half-hour appointment at the High Court Division, the Chancery, and then start umming and ahhing and muttering. All right, you need to be concise, you need to have everything in place, you need to show that you're good, you got a clean hands, clear conscience, you want to return back to the tree of what? The tree of life or the tree of knowledge? I'd say it might be the tree of life. You might want to return back as a branch, all right, but not as a branch in a bank branch or a high street branch. No, that's the wrong branch. All right, you want to go back to the tree as a branch and rejoin it. You want to rejoin it and do good work out there and help the other family that are blind and disabled and handicapped and crippled and cognitively diseased, and you want to go out there and you want to save them and help them and do good. You don't want to profit from your fellow man, you don't want to rinse them, and you won't be making a breach of the common law trust, of the breach of the trust, the public trust. All right, there's trusts everywhere, there's trusted out there in public that you can walk around the city and not get shanked. If you do that, then you've breached the public trust, you've sacrificed your rights, and you've so forth and so on. So yeah, let's see. Land registry. Did you see the symbol from the land registry? Did I show it? Yeah, it's a part, you can make that into the Jewish flag. You didn't see the symbol because I did it private on the .com, just for YouTube, just for you, because I love you. Get ready, get ready, get ready for... Oh no, we've tidied up. We've had a tidy up. Wait there, my fan. Oh dear. Right, you'll have to come with. I want to show you something that Brother Shaft did to my land registry document. It's got a geometric shape on it. Interesting, yes, ratio, check that out, interesting ratios, that's the word, talking about maths and things. It's a very important document of which I've got some things here, we can show you these as well. Come on camera a little bit, here we go. I'm finding it all, I'm finding it. We have organisation and structure. We're getting better. It's all part of continuous improvement, as I've said, which there is a fair bit to be doing. I hear you. I hear the... Let's go here a minute. Let's go here. So what do we see? What do we see? There we go, reverse cam. Get that beauty. So we go here first. We're looking at a document from the land registry, and Master David Jeremita. They've done that wrong. my semicolons. They put a capital D on David when it was lower. They've left Jeremy to lower, but they've made the name into a noun by capitalising that. What's that? What's that then? Come on. That's your UK land registry symbol there. Yeah, six-sided shapes in nature. The six is equality. Honeycomb, B, balance. You have three, trinity. Then you have six. Six is obviously double of three. Well done, yes. We can count. We can do maths. We can. But there's a code on here. AED44 on my video. I've not seen that before. What's that? That must be a key or something. Okay, something's changed. But yeah, interesting. There you go. In the middle. And it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them in grey. Okay, then you've got, yeah, screenshot that and look what Brother Shaft's done. I says, isn't that in the Jewish flag? He went, wait there, Dave, and then bosh, we got to that. Next is, look at this, officer trustee interaction scenarios. Printed them off. We get, this is your PDF, PowerPoint, video narration. All right, look at this. We're moving. This is why I'm quiet. And Brother Stephen of the Drake fam has helped out, and the other lad, what's he called? I think he might be called Pete. The end. That's that. Look, so officer, not in any particular order. Interaction scenario 2. That's where we are private. This one is where you are public, and it's done standard. So you've got everything again. Stop and search in the United Kingdom. It's not finished. It's work in prog. All right. So we got printing issues for one. It's yeah, I'm sorting out the text, the font, the colours, the layout, and then we have this one, UK police officer interaction. This is taken from .gov UK, and it's all outlined as the policy of the current UK government. And then we've taken the text, which we're allowed to because it's on a public domain. It's in the public domain to share, and then we've put down everything as they've got it verbatim for the UK private policy. There is quite a lot here going through. And yeah, I realise you're getting a preview. I'm doing this on purpose. I'm not daft. Yeah, so you can see where we're going. This is all for you to get if you go onto the .gov UK. And then I've changed the wording a bit, as you can see. And we're going through officers, trying to put some light-heartedness in there. What a stop an account is, you know, and why we would confirm and consent to that in most cases, because we abide by common law. And we'd stop and... what exactly is a stop an account? There you go, and just explanatory. Keeping it simple, nice and big, look. No confusion, nice and slow. Digital, printed, online, video. These are the last part of the key competence. It's myself, Andy, G-Star, Stephen, Pete. Who else is there? Are on with? Me and Shaff, when we had a chat the other day, and that's what came of the randomness. We was chatting about prayers, universe, connect, too good, part of destiny, tetragrammaton, serpent rising, surprising, distraction, destiny, fate, cursive spelling, cursive, well done, David in Hebrew, DVD, and if you put the mirror sign down, the name David, it will reflect itself, the divider of man. What? I know, that's all David's, not just me. So, newsflash. What else we got on here in the scribblings of the early mornings? K. Abel, Cabal, K. Abel, 11. You're listening to what I was saying about the number 11 that we was on about with the etymological E11, L even, 11K, yeah. And Roman numerals, fantastic. Madness in the morning, scribbles, and Hegelian dialect. Hegelian is put there, numerology, language, consciousness in the middle, expanding. Bless, you won't mind me sharing that. So let's see, somewhat sidetracked from paperwork to come from government office supporting for claim of what? Back to that, and we will see. I'll give you an update, but it might have to be through the .com. As is the channels of private correspondence. So the work's nearly done here. We're moving, we're prioritising. Got to take our lass away to see her mum. Been to see my mum. DVLA contacted. .com and emails. Tube, Facebook. Brother Gary, I've got to go. Finally caught a live cast. Well done, everybody. Give TM a big round of applause. Happy days. Thumbs up to you. If I could give you a thumbs up, I would. TM, excellent. Greetings, Earthlings, brother, sister, whoever you are. Much love to you and thank you. New scribe as well. I do notice the new scribe names. What is this world now? Another one, new scribe. Thank you. Tried to watch in the past. I didn't understand half of what was going on about. Alright, well, we'll sort that out. We have ways. I have got Discord and I am trying it out. I thought that might be an option for the Hangouts issue that we have. It's a nightmare to grasp it. Possible. Well done. Thank you, JJ. Thank you for that confidence. And it is possible. All you don't know what you can become, whom you can become, how powerful you are. The reason why they tell you that you are insignificant, and the reason why they make out that we are just tiny little thing in a massive universe, and there's no such thing as aliens. We're on our own, and it's just us against this massive void, and that's it. And you are you and tiny, and it is not. You are very powerful, and what you've become is not the totality of what you are able to become, and they know that, which is what I was on about with the K-able with brother Shaf. So yeah, we're going to turn that nightmare into a dream, JJ, from hell into heaven. Indeedy. That's right, TM. So you can learn. You've got a golf ball size consciousness. You'll have a golf ball size intelligence. You can expand that. Language does help. Maths, science, love, trust, that kind of carry on. Lion King and Monsters Inc. The Yellow Brick Road. That's right. No, full disclosure. That's right. That's what I said about the DVLA. Bosh. This is not English. No, it's capitalized hieroglyphs. We'd call that TM. And this is... well, with a capital T, maybe that's AutoCAD, but I've done a little one. They do frown, the establishment, when we communicate with handwritten notices. Not a lot of capitals at all. Your choice. Same as ink significance. Black dead, blue debtor, purple sovereignty, red. What's red? What you sign your name in, things like that. Your own law. Does alphabet derive from the Greek alpha, beta? Indeed. Yes, alpha and omega. I've shown you before about the left hand and the right hand. You've got the Sumerian base 10 counting system that come from that. So does alpha, beta, alpha, beta. Right, the first alpha, put a bet on. Alpha and beta. Look at that. Alpha, A, and then beta. So A space B-E-T-A. And they're going to put an alpha bet on an alpha backwards again, yeah? Beta, alpha, beta, backwards, beta, alpha. Let's put a beta on the alpha. And the first beta we will put on the alpha is the bonding of the birth certificate right when you're a baby. I bet he won't be able to work his way out of this one. I bet the alpha, see? Deceptive. Thank you for that. Well pointed out. And yes, I agree. I would say Phoenicians... and the codes, Win Miller will help me with this a little bit towards the end. Language is what is expanding your consciousness. It's a tool, all right, a weapon, a defense. The best offense is a good defense. Well, you can't have a good defense when you don't. Sorry to put the American. It's just cognitive. When you hear this, you always normally hear an American saying, or a Canadian, or somebody from west, east, not normally England, going, footballers might talk about this now and again. So there you go. Your language is defective, it's debased, cognitive dissonance, it's loaded with neurological tricks and pitfalls. Are you the driver? Can you tell me what you did wrong? I'll leave it at that. These are not the Jedis you are looking for. These are not the self-governing, private, sentient souls that you are looking for. Move along. John, Numbers, nice one. Language could actually come from Britain and the Welsh language. Well, we've had a look. We found out where languages come from, Jesus, and where we believe it to have come from. And and they write these cuneiform Sumerian tablets and so forth that take hours and hours and hours and hours to write, and there's hundreds of thousands and millions of them. They left it there for us to have to, you know, hold and cherish that knowledge, and it took them a long time to write that. So why would they just write them for the fun of it? You know, we haven't even looked at that. They've been suppressed and kept from us. These archaeological discoveries that the Smithsonians keep snaffling up, you know, in an open resource-based economy. Jack Fresco, Venus Project, Zeitgeist, Amendum. You know, if you don't know Jack Fresco, he's the man that's on the Zeitgeist that says about the little boy pledging allegiance to the flag, and he wanted to pledge allegiance to the world. So, you know, it's all out there for you to find, and you have your discoveries. I'll leave it there. Eric, yes, reference Tesla. You want to understand the secrets of the universe, 3, 6, and 9, vortex mathematics. And now I'm going into quantum grammar. Amazing. What we're doing here, TM, such and Jesus, 3, 6, 9. Oh, wow, synchronicity, JJ. So there we go, Bosch, yeah. That's it. I didn't see that, so we've got a yellow super chat, I think. John, key should see 20th century Chambers Dictionary, note, keynote. Oh, keynote, note, key, music, frequency, modulation, keynote, note. Ah, make a note, take note, music, volume of space, volume, literage, size, volume, sound, intensity, decibel, note. Oh, wow, just by accident. Well done, thank you all. Yellow, that's a super chat. What in this world now is giving us the channel £10 then. Thank you very much for the super chat. I don't still understand this, but I did tick it to say turn it on, and that's what happens, everybody. You are able to come on and give a donation via this super chat. Thank you very much. New subscriber, my bro in-law recommended, a brother-in-law recommended you to come here. Any chance of you doing a step-by-step guide to reclaiming of your straw man? We are doing that now via splspro.com, and we've got a dedicated forum on there. What in this world now? I'd just like to call you what? Hello? What? And yeah, we can't publicly come out in this battle and procrastinate too much, because I value my life, for one, and I'm not an idiot, for two. I'm an idiot in legalese, but I'm not an idiot with that. So yeah, we do that on the .com, and you know, it's £12 donation for the whole annum, every annum, and we would look out to work as a family and disclose the instruments, conveyances, positions, masters, courts, tirages, items to use, biblical references, fathers, Simba, lions, kings, language, passing text grammar, Babylon, canon, cannibalized, that would be, you know. So there's a insignificance, titles, position, authority, don't go submitting, instructing, polite, non-vexatious, I's and T's dotted, top right, bottom right, stamps and things and value added, initial instruments to be set up to go down. Ready would be things like, yes, affidavit, claim, files, paperwork done, and status, capacity, equity acts in personam, so you don't need to worry too much about I am the man and the beneficiary and do you see me and blah blah blah, because that's all self-apparent. Your paperwork will precede you, and the devil is in the details. It's not a massive job, but it might be a rescinding or a submittal, or no, not a submittal, a surrendering. That's what armies do, they surrender. We would like to surrender this public certification of birth, and I'd like to swap it for, we're almost there, my good man, and I've been very public with my video blog on this channel of all of our findings, and there's hundreds of, probably thousands of hours on here. Trust me, nobody, we're going to go from hakuna matata to Lilo and Stitch, and there's a saying on that, yes? Is it Ohana? Nobody gets left behind. What? So nobody will be left behind, but I am obligated and duty bound and somewhat intimidated and a little bit anxious of past political happenings, that we go into private and we operate honourably with a clear conscience, and we can only do so much. So for all, not just you, step by step unbonding of man. Thou shalt not trade souls with birth certificates. It won't continue. It shan't continue. The ones that want to break free, for want of a better word, and get back on land from the commercial admiralty business, then we'll try our best. It's somewhat late. 1302. How long ago was that? Unum sanctum. You know, the first master, testamentary trusts, the establishment, Eterni Regis, convocation, and the 1500s, Sesta KV, Sesta K and Sesta KV both need looking at separately. Okay, that's something for you we brought out. That was courtesy of Gemstone. So America, New Zealand, Canada, Australia, courts, jurisdiction, authority, jurisprudence, and all of that. You don't need to come to England to get this done. There are courts in America and there are courts in New Zealand for you to consider laying claim to. I have put them in the second or third, I think it's the third publication of the Key Competence, the Masters guide there, Key Competence Guild, that's on the .com. They're free documents as well, so you'd find them useful to research and to extrapolate and compare to how you see and what you've been told and what you've been given and what there is coming, and new things to consider within this alchemic cross pollination of codes and law, souls, consciousness, spirits, energies, and etc. So thank you for that, and thank you again for the donation super chat thing. And we're going to look at this. There were mans asking me about common law court registration because of Liverpool last year and the failure, tragically, the loss of life from brother, RIP, all affected. Sorry again. I'm not happy about mentioning this ever, but we see a correlation of claims made, protection offered, and massive failure. Leave it there, please. Don't, it hurts me to go on this massively, as if it was my own son and blood. We take it personal. It's a kick in the soul with a massive 50-foot shirker blade. All right, we yielded by a giant Klingon. That's how we took that hit. All right, so common law registration in any form, not just the CLC and the gang out there with the setup as, but public. All right, common. It's not the best way to go. So private is, and that's what's been hidden from you. Knowing thyself. And the remedy, the man that you've been looking for to be the man. You are the man, all right. And he's not going to stamp out your desire, and he's not going to, stand on your fire, because you are the man. You're the man. You're the man. He will stamp out your fire. He will take your desire. Dun, 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 dun. You're the man. You're the man, but you don't know it. You don't know it. Fat Boy, Pim, they know what is what, but they don't know what is what. They just work. What the shirk. Gotta go and find Gary Davis next. Get ready for the cast of Sovereign Jeremy to Facebook. We may get brother Gary join me, and he might be quite angry and vexatious, annoyed. I'm prepared for that, and we'll see if he wants to claim away. Thank you all, fam. We are on this. Yes, I. Copyright, you're welcome. John, you've given me a headache with those numbers. 23696 equals sign of man. You are clever, you are sharp, you are on it. You get it from the website. Email David at splspro.com. Anybody with the Key Competence Masters coursework, that we've given away on the bronze, it's a foundation level. It's Key Competence because it's bronze and it's basic. It's 101. It's what you should have already had with you to defend and articulate. So that's for free. There's civil judicial procedure for no advice given here. These are just our works and findings, and I'm giving you disclosure of our positions and why we have them and what we see compared to others. Okay, so it's just information and it's no advice, there's no liability, and there's no claims to come back on us. We're trying to do this to help, and that's your first one, civil procedures, processes. And then the second one is to do with trusts, the master's trusts and the testamentary trusts. And one of them is from Justinian Deception on a WordPress site that I found that is not our work, that goes into extensively the master servant slavery. After we go, that's a third publication. The second publication is about the trust, who set the trust up, the first proclamation from the Catholic house of God, what popes did it, Boniface, Innocent, the years, the creation of the crown, Eterni Regis, convocation. This is taken of property, taken of souls, taken of rights here, okay? This is what they did. They came out and they speak it to the world. Nobody rebutted them. They didn't understand them. They didn't really care, and they didn't think they thought it was true. I don't know whom and how they, with the pontification and the principality and the hierarchy here, that somebody came out and appointed themselves and put the world and the Christians and whatnot into trusts. And wow, we could do that. To be fair, you could appoint somebody in a mass, and the world could redo this again, and we could successfully, peacefully, with not a drop of blood being spilt, remove them from these positions of power. The it's monarchy, okay, because when you've got the archons and the pre-Gnostics and the archons there before Jesus and the Bible and the Hebrews and the Babylon and everything, you've got that Gnostic text. Those of you that are aware of it, what Ike goes on about, he's not far wrong, that man. I take it back sometimes about Ike. I don't fully like him, and he is as Matt said in Sheffield, David Ike is the warning on your cigarette packet, okay? And those of you know what that means, have a little chuckle, and that's where we stand with that. But yeah, interesting. Billy Carson's helped me get that in there. Tellinger's helped me get that bit in there. So they think they are above all the monarchies and generals and how that's been put down, the bloodlines, the DNA, the lineages. Very interesting. And the publications within that, I'm sorry to go like that, but we didn't start the fire. It has indeed been burning since alleged world's been turning, fam. So fam, yeah, I'm liking the scribes across the pond using the word fam, and some words that are being broken down and used again on scribes that come on here and other scribes that have channels that make videos. So we share everything, and nobody's copying. It's emulation, and it is transformation. You are ascending now. Your consciousnesses, your hearts, your souls, your spirits. Ascension is key. It's not something that happens when you die. Well, it is also something happens that when you die, you ascend and you go on your journey at all times. So enjoy, and thank you for the ride. Thank you for choosing this channel, the domain of SPL's Pro, and just buckle up, all right? Buckle up. We're in the jet stream. Thank you for your thank yous. When you thank me, you thank yourself. So we've all thanked each other. You must have unlearned what you have learned. Indeed, Funk Star, that's right. The deprogrammed enlightener who was on that chat the other night. That was amazing, wasn't it? Thank you all for the fist bumps and hearts, and I do like that channel. I'd like to have a chat with him. Yeah. You're welcome for the responses. All is good. Triggered. Yes, Gnostic Gospels are good. Yeah, they are, Eric. Well, yes, you know them. See what I'm saying? They are indeed very enlightening, shocking to some extent. Up to 13 thumbs up. Oh, aye, thank you. Blessings. Hello to the 20. Keep swapping, coming in and dropping out. Just tuned in. Where are you? What's with the smoke and mirrors? It's called privacy, Pauline. I'm now restricting. This is a public cast, all right? Anybody can come and view this. I'm now starting to restrict, not because I think I'm better or bigger or I'm due. It's just a right of which this camera lens is very open, all right? And you're all here. This is a little bit of advice now, because I am a technical geek weirdo with this stuff. These cameras not just give you a vision, all right, to see me, but they give others a vision, ideas, locality. I've got to protect now. Things are getting very serious, and data in this day and age of 2019, Cambridge Analytica, emails, presidential elections, Clinton, all right, say no more. Yeah, data. It's very, very valuable. I'm not giving anybody any data anymore unless they need it or unless it's essential. So nothing to have a go at you for, sister, but well noted, well mentioned, your data. You know, since the beginning of time and up to 1950, there was a certain amount of data created since the beginning of time. When I say time, we'll say man. Since the beginning of man, and this is including these Babylonian, cuneiform, Sumerian, Egyptian papyrus, all of this, okay? Since the beginning of man to 1950, there was a certain amount of data built, done, all right? And now every couple of days, every 2 days, 48 hours, I'm paraphrasing, but generally, roughly, what did he say? Every 2 days, that same amount of data from the beginning of man until 1950 is created. Now, I've got to be careful. I'm being careful. I want to try and lead by example sometimes. I want to show you my face and the fam and the environment and the places that I go at my choice and disclosure now. Things are getting very serious for, you know, my side and your side, and on a political level and on a spiritual level. And yes, I'm now not as gullible, as open and as freely available as we have been, because we've taken hits, we've taken threats, we've taken lots of stuff. So it's not nice, you know, but we do what we do, and we do it for love. But we've got to look out for, you know, Yanka, Anne-Marie, the family, the location, assumptions, presumptions, negative energy. So as much as you'd might like to see my boat race, boat race, oh wow, look at that, Admiralty slang. Yes, my mince pies and whatnot, they're here. I'm sorry. I'd like to give you something good to look at, or some kind of animation. I'd like, with the you know, the YouTube and the Hangout business going down the pan, and us having to need to look for alternative casting and video formats, I'd like to try and go a bit more professional with it all. And yeah, we'll look at that, Pauline. So much love. Sorry about that, and thank you. Yeah, 14 now. Thank you, JJ. Smoke and mirrors. Yeah, not from here though. Full disclosure. Paula, sorry, not Pauline. It was, wasn't it? Sorry, I'm. Your social media, if you're making any kind of a claim to be kept. Yes, Eric, indeed. You see, data is information. Prospective employers. You know, if you put stuff out there in the public, then that's it, Joe Public. You've given it away for free. Now, who gives anything away for free in this day and age? And what happens when you do? It's taken advantage of, utilised, and, you know, no good. Absolute nuts. They are just us, but their policy is insane. Their procedures and policy and accountability are somewhat to be desired, agreed, sustained. I'm going to go and try and find Gary on Facebook now and have an amicable, mature, you know, manly chat about his claims to me and what I'm doing and who I am, because I've said I will not seek redress, damages and so forth. If he comes on a video and he acts maturely and calmly, doesn't swear, non-offensive, and either apologises for the defamation of character, slander and libelous comments that he's made upon his group there, which constitute terrorism, because he's ignored my rights, and my rights are my property. And if you abuse my property, then I have a way of making it, you know, the claim stand, of which you will address it and be accountable for it, as it is in law, and without this legal pishy-pashy wish-wash. So thank you, much love, very serious, very happy, very solid. And yeah, I've got a lot of weeks now to get in touch and update and finalise and email and meet and seminar, general annual meeting. It can be done. I don't know where and when, but if you've got some property and land, then let me know. I'd like to say end of August, first week of September would be nice. I'd still squeeze one out. We can do it. I want to do it. So if you want a little get together, and it's looking like it might be a nice bit of weather at end of August, beginning of September, then outside, private land, let's do it. Let me know. Let's make it happen. And if not, we'll try and find an inside venue a venue that we can go inside in case the weather's not good, and we'll still push it for the first week of September. So let me know on that. I don't want to disappoint, and we could all get together and see what go on in Babylon. Let's go and see what's going on the Book of Faces, Fed book, and I'm going to go and try and find Brother Gary, see if we can resolve this terrorism upon my my nature and name. All right, my name? No. Well, yes, David, and family and trust and estate. All right. So thank you, much love, and we'll be back soon. Look after yourselves. Thank you for the thumbs up, and I'll see you soon. Ciao, bello.